Turn your phones on silent.
And we are live, Seller Sessions live, weekly, daily on a Saturday today. This week, week 3, Women of Amazon. Here we go. Georgie Mayhew, Anne Ferris, Katrina, Athena Severi, and Alicia is here as well. How you doing, guys?
Hey,
very well.
Thanks, Sunny. How are you?
Yeah, good. Right. So I'm just going to quickly share these to the group. So, Georgie, kicking things off, can you give everyone a little bit of background on yourself, please?
Sure. So I've been selling on Amazon for the last 3 years with my sister. We have high seven-figure business now. Really enjoy it, love it. We enjoy teaching other people now how to do the same thing we do. Yeah, it's just fun. So
cool. Anne, about yourself. Sorry, George.
I have also been selling on Amazon for 3 years. I have a brand focused on family. I absolutely love, and I am a member of Titan with all of these beautiful women.
Excellent.
And living best quarantine life.
Well, we're going to get into the quarantine life in a moment. Kat, what about you? Kata, sorry. You need to turn your mic on. Sorry, Kata, can you hear us? Oh, we can't hear you at the moment. Might need to set out the audio output. We'll come back to you in a moment. Athena?
Yes, dear. So my name is Athena Severi. I've been in this Amazon world for about 5 years, and I'm the queen of Titan. And I love these amazing women on this thing and you for all that you do. And I'm very excited to participate today. Thanks for having us.
No worry. Alicia?
Hi, I'm Alicia Shapiro. I've been in e-commerce since 2003. So I've been doing this a very long time. And I started doing my own private label brands on Amazon in 2014. I have brands in a few different spaces. I'm a leader in Titan as well. So I'm now teaching other Amazon sellers, helping them on their journey in this crazy world that we live in. I get to see these beautiful women every single day in one form or another, even though we live all across the world, which is amazing.
Yeah. Excellent. Can we try and bring in Kata? Can you hear us now? Is the mic working?
No, baby.
No audio. Let's have a look. Okay.
She might have to log off and then log back in.
You might, yeah. Do you want to come off and come back in and see if you can sort out your audio, and then we'll bring you back into the mix in a moment. Right. So let's go round to Georgie. Let's go back to you. Talk to me about once the whole lockdown hit. What was it like? Because obviously you're based in Australia. About 3 weeks ago, people know the story that check in every day. I've been in lockdown for 21 days, about roughly now. When did it really kind of happen for you? Because, I love Aussies, but some of them is like, yeah, just stick your big coat on, aren't they? They don't always take it serious.
You know what?
Yeah.
It is true. I think like that at the moment, we haven't had a full lockdown. You're not allowed to do certain things. Mm-hmm. Majority of Australia is still, social distancing, not meant to go and see other people, all that sort of stuff. But there's no rules in place as of yet, if that makes sense. Yep. So like I kids school, but most of them aren't going to school. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. We're just really unclear on rules, but everyone just wants to get as possible. So, yeah, they've been pretty good.
Yeah. Wow. So that's pretty interesting, but maybe that will change over the next couple of weeks. Hopefully, Australia stays safe. And I mean, in lots of parts of Australia, it's quite open. You think Western Australia is the biggest isolated area, I think, in the world, isn't it? In terms of, so there's a lot of spread out there, but obviously the congested areas like your Sydneys and your Melbournes and stuff, your major cities, it's going to be a different thing. And you're in Costa Rica. You've been on lockdown how long now?
Well, I sort of accidentally started a little bit earlier than some people did, but we've been out of school for 3 weeks and 2 days. Nobody's counting. Yeah, but in Costa Rica, they really went like hard and fast. So there's no alcohol for sale in the whole country. There hasn't been for more than 2 weeks. And actually, this week for Easter week, up until Thursday next week, there's only specific days you can drive, depending on what your license plate ends in. Mm-hmm. And from Thursday to Sunday, nobody can drive. Like, you can't go anywhere. There's no public transportation. It is just like absolute full lockdown. So I'm here quarantined. My neighbor has COVID actually at my condo where I live. She went to New York and came back with it. So I am at a farm in the middle of nowhere. We're the only people here with me and my ex and my 2 toddlers.
Excellent. So, but it sounds like you're having fun there. Athena, for someone who spends most of her time on a plane at an event, how's it been for you for the last 3 weeks?
Oh, well, I treasure these moments where we can get and share and be connected, because for a social person like myself, being stuck at home has been difficult. Now, what I do love about it is I have been able to spend extra time with my children, which is great, and my husband, but I am dying to throw an event together and go to some exotic location with all of you beautiful humans. So
trying to hug you, Athena.
But yeah, luckily we had just been in Cancun like 2 weeks before all this went down. So I got to see all of them, which made me really happy because they're all so far away. Like Georgie's in Australia. Kata, where are you now, darling? Are you in England?
I'm in Maryland right now.
Oh, Maryland. Okay, cool. So
I couldn't move. I'm locked down in the States until they sold it.
You were meant to come to the UK, weren't you?
Yeah, we were moving back, but now we don't know when that's going to happen. So we're just,
Oh my goodness. And one thing I was really excited about, because I'm like, okay, we're all locked in, but I'm in Clearwater. They have the most beautiful beach in all of the U.S. And like the next day they shut down all the beaches. And I was like, no. I thought at least I could bring the kids to the beach, So yeah, I'm ready for this to be done with as soon as possible.
Cool. And Alicia?
I'm in LA. I thought we were still talking about that. I got distracted. We have been locked down for 3 weeks officially. Just prior to the word coming down, though, my daughter was in college, so I had to fly there. It was nerve-wracking flying, I have to say, in the midst of all of this. So I flew there, packed up her whole dorm room, rented a car, and drove her home. And so that was an experience. And then we got a few days after that, we got the notice that our schools were going to be closed. So right now we're in the midst of full lockdown in California. Only restaurants, food places, necessities are open. But that's it. And I'm homeschooling my 11-year-old and working, more than full time and coaching while he's doing his work right there. So sometimes I have to give lessons in the middle of, coaching sessions, like, excuse me for 1 second, and then answering a math question. So life is definitely different than it was a month ago, but we're just getting through it,
Yes, indeed. Let's bring you in, Kata. Say a quick hello, and then tell me what you've been working on at the moment. Riley, we've been on lockdown. What's key pertinent things that you've been working on in terms of your business?
Well, recently, obviously not knowing when the shipments, with the cancellation of creating new shipments, I was literally 2 hours short. I went to bed and I said, I'm too tired, I'm going to do it in the morning. I needed to create a shipment for my product that was about to run out of stock. And I woke up and it was locked. Oh my gosh.
So this is a non-essential item. We're going back to the 5th of March, is it? I can't remember the exact date.
I think it was beginning of March.
Yeah.
And so I missed that, which I was gas to the bile. So just emergency plans, 3PL, whatnot. And I managed to be lucky enough that they lifted that last week, I think. So I managed to divert my incoming shipment from the 3PL directly to Amazon. It's already been checked in. So that's awesome. But other than that, not having anything else to do at the moment, I've just been working really hard on strengthening the relationships with both my team, which was one of my goals for Q1 and Q2, just be able to, offload all the non-essential duties that I was doing and just truly focus on what I'm good at or what I think I'm good at or what I enjoy the most, right?
Yeah.
And I've been just working really hard, bringing the team on board and strengthening the relationship, getting to know them better. BAs, designer, the works. Same with suppliers. I've been working consciously on knowing how they are, how their families are, just nurturing the relationship a little bit more, so they know that I genuinely do care. But we don't really take that time. We're busy and doing business and whatnot, and running the listings and creating products. And I just wanted that naturally will always translate onto better terms down the road, more confident between us. We just trust each other now, know a little bit more of each other at a personal level, and that has resulted in that I just negotiated the 2020-2021 terms for my upcoming products. That's going to save me 40 grand. I'm paying no deposit. So it's clearly, even though if it truly wasn't the intention at the beginning, now paying off. So I think it's something that everyone should, be human enough to do to begin with, but also smart enough to invest as well in that part of the business, especially at times like these, where like there are times, because it shows. It shows. Everything changes. The tone of the conversations, the whole thing changes. The dynamic of the relationship can always be improved, and everyone should be working on that as well, I think.
And at the end of the day, we work with humans. We work with people that we like and trust. So the first thing is the welfare. These people that build your products have got lives and their family as well, So if you look after them over the long term, the halo effect, they'll look after you. Can I bring in Georgie? You've been doing a lot more social media stuff. Do you want to give us a little bit of background on what you've been working on?
Yeah, sure. So, we include social media a lot in our, I suppose, outreach and getting people to engage with us and our audience. We really focus on building our Instagram audience. And at this time, so like the stat people that are engaging social media, like it's increased about 40% in the last few weeks because everyone's at home. So it's a really good time to talk to your customers, really support them, like find out what they need and how you can be there for them. So we've just been putting out content that will help people in these times. So we're in the yoga space. We put out, yoga flows. We are doing giveaway, our
brand ambassadors and
to them because all that sort of stuff. So it's just really thinking about what your customer needs at this time, how you can be there for them, and what you can. So that's what we've been thinking about and implementing in our business.
Excellent. And same question to you. You've been working on influencer and social media stuff, is that right?
Yes, and it was my goal for this year before the pandemic and quarantine happened to engage more with social media and focus on it from really the sense of kind of building a community of customers and not just putting out photos, but finding ways that we can serve and start really supporting and just building an online group of people who are really engaged with not just my products, but the brand and kind of what we stand for as a brand. So my customer avatar is very similar to myself. My customers are moms and kind of hippie moms like me. So since the quarantine happened, I've really been focused on ways that I can help them through things. So putting out content that's not just related to my product, but how is everyone feeling right now? We've done blogs and newsletters on natural health for babies, ways that you can support, a baby's immune system, tips for things you can do at home, recipes, and just really trying to engage and build a group of people that are loyal, not only to the products that we sell, but really loyal to the brand and what we stand for. And then at the same time, also taking a look at what are the products that I had coming up. I'm doing a new line of consumables, and I just kind of changed the order of release of those products because I think, obviously what people are going to want to buy in the near future is going to be more things that are kind of seen as more basic necessities. I think luxury items aren't going to necessarily be selling as high. Things that have to do with health and stuff like that. So we've just kind of like rearranged that a little bit.
Cool. That's good. One sec. Let me give a few shout outs here. We've got Dawn McGill says, how do I get started on Amazon? We'll get into that in a moment. Sarah says, inspiring mums. Shannon says, I love these power entrepreneurs and they're killing it. Matt says, so much beauty and even more brains. Where else have we got here? Tiffany says, sad I got to miss this one this morning, but on a conference call, but I love you all. And Anna has said, oh, well, look at these beautiful women together. Hi, guys. So just quick shout out to the audience. So we've got Stephanie on the call, Phil's on the call, Matt, Nadia, Joshua, Dawn. Again, Channing's there as well. Tony Sagai, how you doing, Tony? Alexandra, Ebru, Pat. Hey, George, welcome back. Mark Steer, Rich Goldstein, how you doing, brother?
Rich.
Yeah. So there's a few guys out there. Anyone who has any questions, drop them into the box. Herb says hello. Stephanie says, love my girls. You can see up on the screen there. So coming around to you, Alicia, talk to me. You've been looking at different financial instruments and stuff, haven't you, with what's going on at the moment and staying abreast on those. What things have you been looking at?
Well, I'm just trying to really stay up to date on all the information. I weathered the recession in 2000, 8, 9, 10, and still maintained our business. I mean, obviously things changed, but it taught me that you really need to be adaptable. Like that's how you stay in business through difficult times. And now we have this opportunity with what the financial instruments that they're offering. So really staying up to date on the SBA loans. For those of us that are in the States, we have those, and maybe in other countries, they're doing things as well. But they have this payroll protection program that was supposed to roll out yesterday. To my knowledge, only Bank of America actually had it up and running by morning time. Wells Fargo, I think, had it available by later in the day. My bank has yet to roll it out yet. But it's something that you just, log into your bank portal and take a look and see what's needed. There's just like a few pieces of information that you need, like what your payroll was from last year for the full year, number of employees, plus your payroll for Q2 of last year, as well as for this year. So things like that. And they're looking at potentially doing full loan forgiveness for those things that you use to maintain your current employees, which includes yourself, right? Yep. So if you've been paying yourself through your business, like if you're an S Corp, for example, or a corporation, or even as a sole proprietorship, there are different ways that you can access those dollars to maintain your payroll and and protect your cash flow. Because I don't know, the economists that I've been following say that it will likely be a V-shaped recession, which means we bounce back a lot faster.
Yeah.
So I really want to go all in on product selection and launching products. I think that this Q4 will be bigger than ever because right now people have no choice but to order online more, and people who were never doing it before.
They're being forced to come online, aren't they? They're not out of choice, and then suddenly it'd be convenient once they've got over the mindset of not being online.
They're changing their habits, and what I say, it's 21 days to change a habit, and we've already been in quarantine for more than 21 days. Yeah. So I bought toilet paper online yesterday. Yes, I was so excited because I was getting close to those last
down to the last few sheets.
So I was very excited by that purchase, more than you would think is humanly possible, buying toilet paper.
It's scary when we're in a day and age where we appreciate toilet paper.
Yeah, really is.
Athena, let me bring you in here. What have you been up to last few weeks? I know you're a social butterfly. You like to be out and about, and that's been a struggle. Is there anything you've been working on that you've now found time to work on, if that makes sense?
We've been really busy, actually, just because, with our network, we have to always be kind of 3 steps ahead, and there's so many changes happening. So it's like, whereas before things were just kind of normal and smooth, all of a sudden it's like, oh, now we can't ship anything unless it's essential. Oh, now, you know what I mean? So we've definitely been quite busy with that. And I actually find myself more busy than normal. I don't know about you ladies, but I see a bunch of people who are like doing puzzles and like etching things in their little things. And I'm like, how are you doing this? Like, I have to cook more meals. I'm like hardcore, like every day on my laptop, like working till odd hours of the morning. So I think now's the time to just go all in on, studying, connecting with people, like really working on your business, working on yourself. I've been actually working on my health, which has been really cool. But yeah, I don't understand like the people who are just chilling. I'm like, if you don't have a job, why not focus on building something that's going to help you in the future? You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I'll put it up now. I posted something yesterday on Facebook, and really,
I love that quote, Danny. The one about discipline.
If you're in, so basically, what the long and short of it. Let me just put it up. If you don't come out of this quarantine with a new skill, your side hustle started, or more knowledge, you never lack time. Basically, you lack discipline, which I think is true. Some people try to defend that and say, I've got a family, I've got this, I've got that. There is absolutely no excuses to find time to improve yourself. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, it doesn't matter how long it is, as long as you commit to doing something small and then grow those steps. Because everyone will tell you there's never enough time. But then you've got people that have got 6, 7 kids, 2 businesses, etc. And then you've got the people that let's watch less fucking Netflix. Yeah. Turn that
like
shit
I have
off.
7 kids right now.
turn the TV off and go and do something to improve yourself. And I do believe that. I know that people are in despair at the moment, and I know like some people can freeze in that, but at some point you've got to stop freezing, and you've got to get on and do things in life and realize that sitting there doing nothing isn't going to progress your life forward. Yeah. And this is a great opportunity to retrain. Let's just say in the UK, they're furloughed, right? There's people that are on 80% wages. They're sitting at home. Why don't you go and learn an online skill? Why don't you sell on Amazon? Why don't you do some copywriting? Why don't you there's so many different things that you could utilize this time to recession-proof your life going forward in case we have one of these again,
100%. And I feel like the people who are going most into apathy is because they lack morale, and morale comes from being productive. And so if you start to feel really low, like you need to go and go farther and faster and stronger. So like I've even been exercising, which is so really fun for me.
They say I think it was Tony, what's his name, said like people, money doesn't make you happy, but progress does. Is like what people don't realize is that having a level of progress, having a road, having something meaningful in your life to aim for, that's what actually people don't realize, that 9 times out of 10, that's what actually makes you happy. Do you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think a key kind of to getting into that, if there's people who are kind of struggling to get out of the funk, is really, I find like starting that first thing in the morning, instead of waking up and looking at your phone and looking at the doom and gloom, which then you're like, oh, and like if I wake up in the morning and I have a coffee and I get stuck scrolling, or I put something on TV, like I'm screwed for the rest of the day. But if I wake up and I start, doing graphic design for my business, or if I start right away with a workout, then it's like one little tiny success that maybe it only takes 10 minutes. But if you've had your success at 8 o'clock in the morning or, 9 o'clock in the morning, then it's like that feeds you and you're like, oh, I just did this badass yoga workout. I'm going to go and like watch this online course, or I'm going to go take a walk and listen to an audiobook. But, I think it's like, start your day how you mean to go on. And that's an easy way to just change a little thing.
Yeah.
Can I just mention one thing that autism...
Put your hand up, miss. You put your hand up. Go on. Yeah, no, go. Yeah, go on. You go.
Okay, so one thing that's been really helpful also is just having the accountability of a group, because like we have our quarterly goals that we set up, right? And then we meet every week and we connect with each other. And that I think really helps us keep ourselves in line, because it can be a lonely world as an entrepreneur. But like Kata's amazing husband, Matt, has put together this whole accountability thing that we're doing. And that's just been really, really helpful, I think, in these times. And I know that if I don't get my work done, I'm going to show up and Athena didn't get it done. So yeah, I think it's really, really to also have that accountability if you can.
Well, this is my accountability. 4 o'clock every day. I need to show up. I've got no excuses. So I do this as part of my accountability as well. Alicia, you was going to say something.
I was just going to say that, for those people who are struggling, also work on yourself, but also take this time to form or maintain your connections. Like we are all around the world, but like I talk to these ladies all the time. We spend quite a bit of time connecting, talking about our day, and doing FaceTime, WhatsApp, like every platform that there is. It's a constant flow of information, and even for people around you, it's like this is really showing you who's thinking about you right now. Who's important to you in your life, and taking the time to ask them questions, reach out to people, because other people might be feeling the same way.
Indeed. Kada, bring you in here. You got anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, I was thinking about what you said, how accomplishment makes you feel better. And it's scientifically proved. I mean, we procrastinate.
Progress, not perfection, but progress. Some form of progress makes people happy.
I mean, just taking that one first step towards something makes you feel more accomplished than you were previously scrolling on your phone. And we will be lying if we don't say that, whether we like to think or not, we know we're not doing what we were meant to be doing or what we wanted to be doing. And we find whatever excuse there is to justify why we didn't get to it. But the truth is, during these times, we're all, whether you're strong or not, at some point going to feel vulnerable. And there is fear. And that fear that Athena is very well versed on explaining more than me, perhaps, but that fear will lead to procrastination. And we need to somehow just get out there, take that one step towards, and just cheat that prefrontal cortex, geeky as it sounds, and just get there and take that one first step. Because procrastination at the end of the day makes us feel like shit about ourselves, whether we say it out loud or not. Right? Every time I know I have to do something and I didn't do it, I go to bed with that load. It must have been a great Netflix day, but I didn't accomplish anything, so I feel like crap, and I just start building up. So right now, that's when discipline, as you correctly said, comes into play. This is the time that you literally have no excuse but to be organized and give yourself that one moment of, I'm actually going to do something for myself. Just going to do one thing. You don't need to do the whole thing. You don't need to master your social media or learn to cook or read the book. You just need to read the one page. Just read one article. Just do one thing. And that by default will translate onto, bringing you closer and closer to feeling better. And you start that circle that's no longer vicious. It's actually something good that you feel better about yourself.
I love it. Danny, that thing that you always say about progress over perfection.
Yeah, I say it to my daughter all the time. I give her a lot of stick, but she's grown as a person because I've just you've got to fail. You just got to get on with it. And and I instill that belief into a 14-year-old child, because at the end of the day, our subconscious, it guides us in terms of what we do, right? So like your fears, your belief systems and everything else. And all I'm trying to do is make sure that as a young woman that she's programmed for the future and that she can stand on her own 2 feet and be fearless. Because why should she be anything else other than fearless,
Yes. I love that.
Look at her on stage and the way she tackles that fear. I mean, that's a big thing, I think, especially at that age.
Well, look, we've got one of the listeners. Anna's saying, "Yep, time to do my squat." Still listening.
Go on,
you go for it, Anna.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think that Dave Asprey, one of the things that he says that when he's at dinner with his kids every night, he asks them what did you do great today, and then what did you fail at? And if his kids didn't fail at something, then he says, oh, too bad. Like, hopefully you'll fail at something tomorrow. And that because if you're not failing at something, you're not learning. So it's so true. Like, you don't have, everything you do doesn't have to be right, but it just has to be moving in a direction of going forward, doing your jump rope every day out in your driveway.
That's right. It also do with your habits too, right? Like at the end of the day, it's mastering yourself. And to get rid of that procrastination and to hold yourself accountable. Like we're reading Atomic Habits right now in our book, in our Titan book club, and I'm really grateful because it's really good. I'm really enjoying it because I really feel like right now, that's something I'm really going all in on, is mastering myself and maintaining really good habits and building on them, because it's at those incremental daily steps that you take and staying consistent, even if it's just a little bit every day. At the end of it all, you know, at the end of the week, you've made that progress that you wouldn't have done if you didn't have that in place.
Yeah,
I agree. We have to disagree, because if you go on social and if you start sort of absorbing what the media is telling you and what other people who are not like-minded are telling you, it's so easy to go into that slump of just eating junk food and doing nothing. And, you know, it's so easy to do that. Now, for us, we are all mothers on this call, actually. Look at us. All 5 of us are moms. And we can't afford
And Danny's the dad.
And Danny's the dad. We're all parents here. So, I mean, one thing that I've also been focusing on is compartmentalizing my time, because it's very easy to just have like this giant mush of a day. But if you're very, very focused on each compartment of what you're doing, then you get a lot of work done. And then when you're with your children, really pay attention to them and be that mom and do the homeschool if you need to, or whatever it is that you're doing. Like, we go and we ride bikes, we go outside, we do Legos, we do work, we do it very focused, and then move on to your next task, because it's very easy just to have this like smush of a life right now.
Yeah,
absolutely. I've been having my kid we do PE. Like, we run around the backyard, we jump on the trampoline together, we take neighborhood walks. That's actually been really nice, you know? Like, and we make it fun, which is really important, that he feels like you're going all in those moments.
What is with this whole thing with, like, I'm not a fan of education. I'm a fan of people having the smarts to go out there, because you can go and get very well educated. You can go to school, get all these different things, and then basically what happens, you go and work in a pet shop and never live up to the expectations of what you could have done, right? So I've always said to my daughter, like, she'll come to me and I don't give a shit about education. I'm like, if you know how to get out there and work hard, if you're a good communicator and you've got maths and English and you've got passion, you've covered most things, right? But everyone has different opinions. And with this homeschooling thing, how much pressure have you put yourselves under, and do you value education as in the same way as you once did?
None for me.
You're the highly motivated.
I don't do that. I'm from Danny's. I believe in I'm a child of the universe. I believe in the school of life, if you wish.
Yeah.
We haven't put Lyra under any stress. Okay, so this also comes to realizing that I'm actually really crappy at teaching, and I'm not aware of that. I don't know how I learn, so I can't pass it on. I try, but I just don't. So when the teachers keep sending me emails, the online content and this and that, I've actually haven't done it because I don't want to.
And most of it's just bullshit. It's just absolute nonsense.
I don't think she needs it. She's already she can survive, and you're gonna laugh and think I'm a terrible mom. But the truth is, she's been watching Grey's Anatomy with me. She can speak medical language now, and we had a great time and we bonded. And she's gonna go back to school eventually, and she's gonna pick up whatever she left. I'm not worried. I'm building memories with her right now. I'm just trying to enjoy it. Matt's really good. Obviously, he's in the military, so it's a different approach. But I don't get bothered by it. You know, this is a precious time that probably will never happen again. What do I rather be doing with her right now?
Yeah. Athena, what's your take?
Well, mine are a little older. I think that has somewhat to do with it as well. Mine are 12 and 9, and the 12-year-old they're both getting some work done thanks to my husband, which is great. But I actually signed up for masterclass.com yesterday because I want them to watch what these brilliant business owners, like CEOs of Disney, and
that's a good idea,
having them watch things about cooking and about negotiations and about different things, because if I leave them to their own devices, they'll just watch YouTube all day and play video games all day, which I'm not interested in. So my son's taking a tutorial on Photoshop right now. He's actually watching some content. He calls it Uncle Rich and Uncle Mike and Dan, who knows all the people from some of the Amazon courses that I have. So I'm literally getting them to watch stuff about entrepreneurship, branding, marketing, negotiations. I'm actually going to have my older one do a sales course pretty soon because it's going to help his logo business. So yeah, we have a different style of education happening over here. But if I let them play video games all day, then they become really cranky. So I have to like watch that. Yeah.
Yeah, there's got to be a balance. Alicia, what about you? What's the story here?
Well, I don't quite have the same relaxed approach to educating my children as my friends do. I do agree in like my middle one, who's home from college. I want her to go through ASM. She's highly resistant to that idea, but it is something I've been asking her to do. I think she'd be great at it. But with my son, it's his 5th grade year. He's starting middle school next year. So I don't think that I'm not putting too much pressure on it, but his school does uses Google Classroom. They have assignments they have to get through every day, and I expect him to get through them. And he's next to me doing it. I'm not checking his homework. Because he's my 3rd. I'm more relaxed than I would have been. I'm just kind of letting it ride and not going too heavy on it. I think that at this stage, that them keeping up with it is important, but I also think that a few months out of their life isn't going to be life altering in the end result of their education. So I'm not being too hyper about it. But I know if he needed it, I could teach him, because my oldest had special needs. So I had to, like, all the way through school, I had to kind of be there with him and give him that extra support the whole time, because I felt like just because he was differently able didn't mean that he wasn't capable of learning. And so I always went all in with him on that while building my businesses at the same time. So I'm used to it.
You're such a rock star, all of you. Good Lord.
Georgie.
I think it's just depends, on what's important, but this isn't going to be life altering in the end of the day.
Georgie, what's your take? How do you school your guys?
Look,
I know it's like 2 o'clock in the morning over there, isn't it, in Australia?
It is. It's really, really early. Yeah, I'm not 100% sold on school at all. I went to private schools in Australia, and that was all fine. But yeah, I just don't necessarily think they teach the things they need to teach for our kids to be successful in the world. So yeah, I've just taken this opportunity to spend more time with my kids. They're only like 6 and 3 at the moment, so they're still babies. But yeah, I don't know, just really get them involved in, like, they do see what I do in business and they understand that sort of thing, and I try and get them involved where I can, so they get some more exposure than just normal school stuff, I suppose. Yeah.
Cool. And
that makes sense. Yeah.
Well, my kids are 2 and 4, so they're very young. Their preschool is doing like a Google 3 hours spread out over the day, but where I am right now, we only have internet in one spot, and they have projects, and there's no store nearby, so we've just kind of said screw it. And my view is, for them at this age, the best what they're learning about is themselves, social stuff, life. So we've had the privilege to be able to spend a lot of time outside, go horseback riding, and just having them learn to deal with each other. I mean, my ex and I normally don't live together, so they really are living their best quarantine life, because they get to play on a farm and have their 2 parents, while we are like
happy as well. Yeah, happy as well. Yeah.
But I mean, I have a master's degree and a law degree, and I'm still selling online like everybody else. So I think I'm definitely of the school of like, learn how to learn things, like to have a love of learning, because that's what keeps me going now. It's like, I'm like, ooh, what books can I read? I have such ADD on Audible. I'm like half the way through like 8 books, but it's like that, which is so important in e-com, is just to keep learning, to keep moving forward and adapting, but to channel that into like your whole life depends on what, level of calculus you can do. For some people it's important. I can't do calculus.
Yeah, Mark says agreed on schooling at that age is about the attention, love, and fun for the kids, is what he's saying.
100%.
But why I agree with you there, and that's the bit that I missed out, is one of the skills, maths, English, and hustle there just to go in relentlessly and don't worry about failing will get you much further than, you know, some degrees in some stuff that means fuck all, basically. But the one bit I missed out on is that having the ability to learn and learn fast, having learning techniques like speed reading and retention of information and how to look for stuff to get your game up to learn fast. That's something that I want to work on with my daughter so she can assimilate information a lot faster. Athena, you're putting your hand up.
Just a very quick one. With my older son, he has certain lessons he needs to get through, right? And we were just saying, okay, you need to spend 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it was, to get through these lessons. But one thing I realized very early in my son's life is he does have the brain of an entrepreneur, right? And so for him, he wants a reward and he wants to figure out the fastest way to get to that reward or to get to that target. So if I tell him, get through the next 6 chapters and you're done for the day, that boy will move faster than I've ever seen. But if there's time on it, then he'll just sit there for 3 hours and wait till it's over. And so I think it's also very important that you understand your children, their brain, the way that they work, and you motivate them in the way that they need to be motivated.
Yeah, so, and the way that learn. Some people are visual, kinesthetic. There's different learning styles. So you have to kind of adapt to how they prefer to learn to get the most out of them as well. Which I don't think is something that they would normally teach at a lot of schools. One thing that annoys me about school, they don't teach you about running the business. They teach you how to get a good job. And in this day and age, we need more than the 1% that run the world to take care of the other 99%. If we got lateral thinking, if we taught people how to be entrepreneurs, we taught them about failure, we talk them about costs, we talk about like dealing with people and relationships and all the things we just talk about fucking geography, and which is fine, but that's only going to get you so far with running the business. But you know, it's like our schooling systems are designed for you to go and get a great job, to go and work for someone else, which I think is a shame.
Education is about knowing how to think. Sorry, Anne. It's about knowing how to think, how to research, how to find information, how to take the information from different places and put it together to make a new thing. Like that's what I learned in school. And so I thought, and that was really important for me in my development as a human. So that's why it's important for me for my kids. But at the same time, I 100% agree with you, Danny. They don't do a good enough job in that.
Yeah, well, you know, hopefully that will change. I think in the future that will change. I think even people like Elon Musk, his company's relaxed on, you know, they're people without degrees. If they're really good at what they do, he's not going to force them to go and get a degree. He's just going to take the fact that, you know, like a lot of the stuff that you can learn all the theory, but unless you've got some practical skills, there's that little gap, isn't there? Is that people go and get well educated and they can't get a job because they don't have experience. So it's like, how do you create that bubble of real world experience so it makes it easy for people to get jobs or start businesses for themselves, you know?
Not many people are resourceful naturally. I'd rather my daughter know how to cheat, how to go to Google and find her answer so she can get her reward quicker than actually know the answer. Because then I know that she's not going to be in the future asking on a Facebook group, what does FBA stand for? You know what I mean?
Well, FBA stands for over here for my daughter's former school was Francis Barsley Academy. It was that big FBA.
There's a book called that I'm reading right now called Untamed, which for women is really good, by Glennon Doyle. But she's a mom of 3, and one of the things that she talked about that I thought was really relevant for where we are right now is that kids these days just kind of don't have a chance to be bored. Like they're so overscheduled and overworked. I mean, kids come home from first grade with hours of homework. So they don't have a chance to be bored. And in boredom, provided that what you're not doing in boredom is like, you know, playing video games, is when you really have to start thinking about how you personally are going to entertain yourself and what is the thing that you want to do to entertain yourself, which is where you discover what your passion is. And I think that's kind of one of the things that we can miss with kids these days in really strict and heavy, you know, education and activity programs, is that they don't really get a chance to discover what it is that they like doing on their own. And nothing will make you better in life and in your work than doing what you're passionate about. Like Athena, you know, same for you, Danny. Like you guys are everywhere because you absolutely love what you do, and it like shines out through, you know, your eyeballs. And that's the thing that's like the key to life. And if you don't have a chance to slow down and really think, it's like, your mom can't tell you what your passion is. Neither can your teachers. It's something that you have to figure out on your own.
Yeah, I just quickly here, Brandy says conversation is on point. Matt says education hasn't caught up with the connected world we live in now and our ability to work for ourselves more easily. And then we've got Nadia's put massive gap between industrial age education and the information age of today, which is very true.
That's on point.
Yeah. So what can we do moving forward now to ensure that our children, if like a virus hits as they get older, what can they do to recession-proof their life?
Who wants to go first?
Athena?
Me? Oh, okay. Well, I've actually felt like I've been doing this since they were super, super young. They started an Amazon brand at 4 and 7. They help pick their own products. They launched it. They understand. So if you speak to my children about Amazon, they can look at your product. They actually looked at one of mine the other day and said, "Mom, you do realize you're in the wrong subcategory, right?" And I'm like, sorry, babe. But like, I taught them some stuff about Amazon, but really I get them to think with like, who's their ideal customer? What's a problem that they can solve that could actually help the world? What is a way to look at like even funnels? Like I've taken them to Funnel Hacking Live and they've watched Russell Brunson talk about how to build a funnel, how to do a perfect webinar. Like I know all of this sounds really silly to be teaching to someone who's 9 or 12, but they actually fully grasp it the same way that they would know the capitals of the United States. And
what it does, it encourages them to start a lot younger, like with the logo design and stuff. That's how that whole lemonade stand thing starts for people. And if your son starts his business at 16, it's better him to start then than training for a career, gets to 32, has a young family, then wants to do a career change, right, and then has to take a lifestyle cut to get there to build their own business. So it's right, get them going early. Yeah.
And this is how we actually found that. And I don't know if this might help any parents, but I was asking my son what he feels he's good at. And he said, "I'm good at designing things." Okay, great. So what do you think you could design for people that would help them? How about a logo? Okay, great. Mom, can you post on your Facebook that I'm doing logos? No, son, I'm not going to post on my Facebook that you're doing logos. You're going to have to figure this out on your own. How much should I charge, Mom? I don't know. That's up to you. But one thing I taught him is instead of him going and trying to charge people, he said, for the first 20 people, I'm going to do a logo for you for free. So he had to then spend the next however long servicing 20 customers for free and doing such a good job. I said, son, when you know you've done a really good job is when those people want to offer you money because you did such a good job. So I'm teaching him literally just through this project how to sell himself, how to take care of his customers, how to do a good job. If he doesn't do a good job, how to go back and fix it. So I think that you can do that.
Did he own himself a pair of Yeezys after for it? Or?
he ended up paying for half of his super ridiculously expensive Adidas. I don't even want to tell you how much they were. But yeah, I mean, these are little exercises. And when they're really young, it could be, with cupcakes, or we went door to door, knocking on doors, selling cupcakes together. And I know for some parents, like, why are you spending time teaching children door to door sales? Because they're going to knock on the door and they're going to have failures and they're going to knock on that door.
Rejection, embarrassment, all the things they need to do.
And the last one that we did, 2 beautiful people, they gave them $20 each for these little cupcakes. And they just had the biggest smiles on their faces. And we went home and I bought them this crazy Lego set, which was the reason why they were looking for money, was to get this Lego set. So I've been, ever since they could talk, like really trying to inspire them into this brain, this mindset of like, who can I serve? What can I give to them? And that's really what we need to be doing now as entrepreneurs is who can we serve and how are we going to do a really good job at it? And we will never be without a business income, anything, you know what I mean? So that's what I'm trying to do to future-proof my own children.
Yeah. Matt says, lead by example, show them fun, freedom and creativity that's working for yourself gives you.
I see that for sure. Yeah.
Anne, do you want anything to say on this subject here?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, my kids are already, they're still super young and my son knows that I work from home. And the reason I started this business, the reason I started working online was because I wanted to be able to work from home. And I was asking him the other day what he wants to do when he grows up. And he said that he wants to work on the laptop like mommy. But my kids are super involved in my business. I don't know if one day they're going to kill me or they're going to love me because it's named after them. They're in all the photos. But I think for me, what I really want for them is to know, to show them by my own example that life is limitless, you know? And for me, that means being able to spend time with them. It means being able to travel to see my friends and to go and see my horse, which is a passion of mine. They don't have to sell online if that's not what they want to do, but I just really want them to be able to discover what it is that they love. And also Athena really hit the nail on the head, is how they can serve, because that's what gives purpose to life, is service. You know, anyone who has become really successful financially, you know, most people, especially, well, if you're a good person, it's what you realize is that really doesn't mean anything. What means something is being able to give back. And I know we were kind of talking about that yesterday, Danny, but you know, if you're doing things for other people, like, you're always going to be able to do that. And if it's something you're passionate about, that's going to be the thing that's going to fulfill you for the rest of your life, not how much money you can make at your 9 to 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Love that.
If you can make me, you know, basically make meaning, you'll make money, is the way I've always seen it. So I have like 3 principles of everything. Like I say no to 99% of things, and I'm like, does it make meaning? Does it make me happy? And will it make money? It doesn't. As long as it's in that order, I'll take it on. But 99% of the things, my opportunities come my way, don't. I can't soullessly sit there to make money. I find it boring. You know, I know if it would give me an internet connection, I'll make money, but it has to be done in a certain way that's fulfilling. And I think if people know what they want out of life, that's half the battle, because when you had those rough days and what you want to do is pull the duvet back over your head, you get up because you got meaning and you got passion to drive you through, because, you know, motivation isn't always going to be enough on a daily basis. You've got to have, you've got to love the process as well. Kata, talk to me.
What you said is very true. And also what Nadia said down there about resilience. That's so important. I mean, right now, to show vulnerability to our children, to tell them it's okay to be scared. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know. I'm sorry you feel sad not being able to see your friends. Being honest, I feel sad too. I can't travel. I can't do the things I used to. Being honest, being open, teach them that, you know, it's okay to feel whatever they're feeling, so long we push through it and find creative ways to get past it and come on the other side stronger. But not lying to them, just saying, oh, all's going to be okay. We don't know that. I like to be honest with children, no matter the age they are. I don't know if everything's going to be okay. I don't know if all of our relatives are going to be fine, but I know what we can do to try and make that happen. So let's focus on that. And that actually turns out to be okay and calms children. I think we so often underestimate the power they have to absorb and actually be told the truth, and be told in a way that's not patronizing, you know, in a way that is the same way that we hear it, because that's the world they're going to go into. So there's no point sheltering. Within the military life, we had to learn resilience. We have to say goodbye to friends every couple of years. So my kids have been lucky in a sad way to learn how to cope with these things. It's not fun and they still hurt, but it happens, and it's just made them stronger. That being said, we now live in times that we don't even know what's going to happen and when that's going to happen. When are we going to be able to see each other? And that's also scary. So sharing those things and sometimes just letting them see, you know, that we are not very good, not having a great day. We're bored to death being stuck in. As I can only imagine Athena bouncing off the walls. You know? Like,
everyone's worried
about others, but the truth is, this is a great opportunity to showcase that vulnerability is a good thing, and that so long we openly and honestly talk about it and try to make the most out of every situation by practicing gratitude, for instance, we can get by every day. This is the key time that you can teach everyone around you that, okay, this sucks. However, aren't we lucky we're healthy today? Aren't we lucky we have a roof? Aren't we lucky we have food? Aren't we lucky we have toilet paper? You know, the little things like Alicia said earlier.
Yeah.
We need to focus on those things, because those are the only thing that as well in our brain trick the amygdala and just keep us going, quite frankly. So yeah,
exactly. A lot of it also comes down to mindset, as well as Nadia's put here on the screen. We're coming up to close to the hour point now. Is there anything else you'd like to cover before we head off into the sunset? It's a beautiful day here. I don't know what the weather's like out there, but it's
kind of got very motherly and very
yeah. So if you want to let's turn it back onto business, right?
Yeah, let's go business.
People listening in the audience, and obviously this will be a replay, plus it will go through the podcast, etc. Give me one thing that Amazon sellers should be doing whilst in the quarantine. I'll start with you, Kata, first. What do you think people should be doing? And we'll go around the room.
I think people should be focusing on deep diving in reviews, their products, their idea of products, their competitors' products, and start learning and investing more time on learning what the customers are saying and what the customers want, rather than what they want, because the market is going to change. The customer behavior is changing, and the only way to know what people are wanting and what people will want when the market resumes is to actually getting off the horse that we know what they want and learning what our voice.
Cool. Athena?
I always believe in the power of connection, and I feel that being surrounded by people who have a positive mindset and are succeeding and can help you to kind of grow is incredibly important in this time, so that you don't go downhill and you start to feel like you are going into more of a negative mindset, to reach out for someone to help you kind of overcome that. Resilience, I think, is key, as well as the accountability that we talked about earlier. I think that's also very key. Also, just being accountable to yourself, and every single day having a plan of action on what you're going to get done that day will make a big difference when you're sitting in your PJs at home.
Yeah. Alicia?
One thing that I've seen coming up for a lot of sellers, especially new ones right now, but I think for all of us we should pay attention to, is when you're developing products right now, that the data is skewed. Right, on Amazon. So really using the tools available to us, whatever plugin that you use to see historical data on individual product pages. So don't just look at like the view where you're seeing all the products, actually go in, see what the historical data was, because right now we're seeing vast changes in some areas. Like I was looking at a product with someone yesterday, like I used a yoga mat as an example, and right now they're selling like, it was like 1,000 a day, this one brand, but normally it was more like 50 a day if you looked into historical data. So, you have to not assume things just on the surface. You have to dig deeper, and this is going to end. So I still say, stay the course, continue to launch products, but think about what your customers are going through right now. Their needs might change, like to Anne's point of how she's changed the order of her releases right now based on what her customers at. So I think if you look at product selection through those two lenses, that you can really set yourself up nicely for Qs 3 and 4 this year.
Cool. Anne?
I think that given, well, whether you have extra time or you don't, I think that this is the time to really go all in on your branding. If you're not ordering new products or, you're planning that, take a look at the products that you have. Take a look at the brand that you have. People are sensitive right now. And I think what everybody wants is a little bit of connection. And you can communicate that through your Amazon listing. So go through and update your wording. The Cohen's, Chelsea Cohen always talks about the wording of the listings, that you can make it more friendly, more emotional. The same with images. What I always like to do is take my own images, or if you have a friend who's a good photographer, when you guys can see each other, whatever. But I think really focus, like take a day where you're not going to sit down and go through and do a million things. Like take a day and go through and really think, like, what is my brand? What's my brand story? What is the message that I want to send to people? And go through your products and make sure that message is consistent. And there's a great book that I'm obsessed with called Building a Story Brand. And one of the things he talks about in that is that you need to remember that your customer is the hero. You are not the hero of your story. Your product, your brand is not the hero. Your customer is the hero. So you can go and kind of think about what is the way that your product is serving this person in their mission to, better themselves or, be a home cook or whatever.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
That was so good.
So what's the best way if someone wants to reach out to you, has any questions, listeners of the show, etc.? What's the best way to reach you?
Me?
Yeah.
Facebook. I'm on Facebook. Ann Ferris, same name. I'm the one in Costa Rica, so it should be pretty easy to find me on there.
Cool. Alicia?
Same. You can reach out to me on Facebook.
Excellent. Kata?
Yeah, same thing. Catherine A, as my name shows down there. I think you tagged me on this show anyway.
Yeah.
So that will be the fastest way.
Cool. And Athena?
Everywhere. Athena's everywhere.
No, just if you look my name up, whether it's Instagram or Facebook, I'm there always a lot.
Yeah. Cool, guys.
Can we just acknowledge the ladies just for 1 second? It just brings me so much joy to see these ridiculously powerful, amazing women. Because I remember when I first got into the Amazon space, like it was just so male dominated. And you know, I went on a trip to China once on someone else's trip, and there were like 3 women out of 60, and I felt so alone. So I just wanted to acknowledge just the badass, gorgeous, amazing, strong, powerful, fabulous women on this call, and you, of course, Danny, because we love
Danny.
Well,
Danny's in touch with its feminine side.
I'm in touch with the feminine side, yeah.
we love you. We love how you support us. We love all of it.
Obviously, there's something I won't announce now, but there is something obviously coming up, so which falls in line with what you just said there.
Yeah.
Right, guys, thank you so much for joining. Audience, thank you for joining us. Tomorrow we're back at 4. We're going to be doing on health. On Monday, we've got Kian Gilzari.
I love him with all my heart, my brother.
Yeah. He's going to be talking about sourcing in the pandemic and some tips for what's going on in China to not take advantage of the situation, but understand is that as they're coming back to full production, they're very keen, the Chinese, to get back to work and negotiate with you. So there's an opportunity there to make better deals with your current suppliers or with new suppliers. But be safe, stay home. I'll see you guys later. Lots of love. Take care, and I'll be back here 4 o'clock.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Oh,
Bye, girls.
Bye, Danny. Love you. Thank you.